Okay, class. It's me, Professor Scales. We're going to talk about rundown sheets today. But before we get there, I want to go over two important points, messages that I want to make sure that I deliver um, to you. Um, Number one, many of you received emails from me either Wednesday or Tuesday afternoon about you logging into the class and handling assignments and/or lectures or what have you. We've only really had lectures since today is our first assignment. Just know that um, Blackboard auto generates messages for me to let me know that somebody may or may not have logged in, and I pretty much just I follow through by clicking and saying, send them a little notice, letting them know that if they have questions or concerns, that I'm always here. The last thing I want to have happen is that anybody gets to week 8 or week 10, and I discover in week 10 that you've been lost or missing in action for any reason. It's a little bit more difficult because we're doing everything virtually, at least in classroom settings. I'm taking roll and I can see, oh, this person's here, that person's there. I know that this person's not going to be here because of some special feature or function or whatever the case may be. And don't be necessarily alarmed that I believe that you're in line to get an F or some horrible grade, but just know that I'm reminding you that I'm here, and that if at any point you have questions or concerns, or you feel as if there is something that you want to have me address or readdress. There may be a lecture where you didn't understand something or what have you. Let me be the first person that you pick up the phone and call or send an email. And a few of you did, in fact, do one or two of those things. You email me or call me, and I appreciate that. And I think those people would appreciate that I provided them a message of positivity, like, hey, I just wanted to make sure you're in good shape. And it's a little bit difficult or challenging because of COVID, and so I just want to let you know I'm here for you. All right. Let's move on to the second and most important thing. Yesterday, I received an email from our department chair, Dr. Hart, which was a thread from our school head, um, uh, Dr. Nubi Alexander, and essentially it outlined some details related to a COVID-19 outbreak yesterday, which was Wednesday the 10th. And that outbreak may have been Tuesday or Wednesday. That was in Brown Hall, the building where our classes are. The building has been sanitized according to the email. They wipe down knobs in classrooms and whatever precautions they take for that. However, Dr. Hart has been quite clear that your safety, my safety, is important, and he doesn't want us to needlessly be in the building. And so, if there are things that any of your classes, at least on the television, the mass comm classes, um, require you to go into the building, this is a time that you should be coordinating that you are going into the building safely. If at all possible, you should not be going into the building. If your classes are like mine, virtual, then I'm not sending you into the building. Dr. Hart doesn't want to see his faculty and staff, myself and others who teach for him or work in the mass comm department in the building just because, oh, it's Wednesday and I haven't been at my desk, or I really just want to get two pencils off of the counter or check my mailbox or what have you. He doesn't want that. He doesn't want us instructing students to needlessly go into the building just to maybe get a microphone or just check in or anything like that. This class is on purpose a virtual class, so you have no cause at this moment to go into that building based on anything that this class is assigned to you. And I would hazard to guess, based on Dr. Hart's strong urging, um, that no other mass communications and journalism classes should be asking you to go into the building unless that is something that has already been discussed with Dr. Hart and that professor. All right. With that much being said, this is what I do want to let you know how I feel about it. Um, directly, uh, please, I'm urging all of you to, observe all the safety precautions whenever in public or in small spaces with others, right? That's wearing a mask, that's observing at least 6 feet of distance, that's the hand washing, that's the, kind of doing your own self check. Do you have a temperature? Are you feeling like you're running a fever? Are you feeling tired or lethargic? Or do you have the lost taste or smell or what have you? And if necessary, get a test. We're not out of the woods on this, and I want to see everybody. I want to hear of the stories and watch your Facebook pages and your social media that you graduated or you've moved on to the next semester or things are great in your life. The last thing I want to do is to see the next post about a wonderful student who was set to graduate this semester, unfortunately, due to COVID-19. Fill in the blank. I don't want that for anybody. I don't wish that on my worst enemy. I got a lot of because you're Norfolk State University Spartans, of which I am one of those. My master's and my bachelor degree were at Norfolk State in this program. I got love for you all, and I really cherish, although we haven't been together in the classroom, just the idea that you are a Spartan and I'm a Spartan. The last thing I want to have happen is I lose anybody or have anyone just fall sick in this time frame. So do the right thing if at all possible. Okay, we got all that stuff out of the way. I've been all sappy and sentimental, and I love you and all that good stuff, whatever. Just don't do nothing stupid. Let's talk about rundowns. This is a rundown, and I will provide this rundown sheet to you. This is just an example rundown. This is going to be a PDF that I'm going to email. What a rundown is for is to make sure that everybody knows what's happening when. All right. It is a roadmap from the beginning of a show to the end of a show to help us get to our greatest possible success. Any program needs a script. I may have discussed this before, but I'll take a minute right now to kind of do this. Imagine we didn't have GPS for the sake of argument, and you live in Hampton Roads, and you live at Norfolk State University, and someone said, "Oh, we're going to go to the basketball game that's upcoming, and that game is at Howard University." But you've never actually driven from Norfolk to Howard University before, and you really don't know the way. The first thing you would do, if this was, say, maybe 1996 and you didn't have a GPS, is you would go to Expedia or MapQuest or whatever, or Google Maps, and you would type in the two coordinates, Norfolk State, Howard University, and you would hit print because it would have given you directions, a map from here to there. It will have every turn detailed. Turn left here, go right there, do this for 6 miles. After that, get off at this exit, bear to the left, whatever the case may be. And it's going to give you these super great details. Then you can actually, in fact, print maybe an alternate map, one that's going to be like, oh, this is not the fastest way, but this way right here is pretty good just in case something happens. Now you take these maps with you because what you want to do is get to Howard University. Now, because you're college students and you're probably poor, just like I was poor when I was in school, but I had this car, excuse me, you don't have a lot of gas money, you don't have a lot of food money, and you don't have a lot of time to just be out here just playing around. So you find out that to get from here to Howard University is 3 hours and 12 minutes or something like that, and it's going to cost you this many miles, whatever that may be. Let's just say it's 187 miles roughly, something like that. I'm not sure. And your car gets, 20 miles to the gallon, so you can see how many gallons you need and how much cash you need. And if for some reason you don't follow the map, you're not going to get there on time for the game. The game starts at 4. It's going to take 3 hours to get there. You have to park. You have to purchase a ticket. You want to, get your snacks before you go sit down. all that good stuff. So the game starts at 4. 3 hours to get there means that you have to leave at 1. But that's cutting it pretty close. So you'll leave at 12. You might hit some traffic. So you'll leave at 11 in the morning. You leave at 11. You hit the traffic, whatever the case may be, but you get through and you get there on time. So imagine if you didn't have a map. That may mean that you'll leave at 1 or 2 because you didn't know it was a 3-hour drive. Or maybe you'll leave real early, but then you get lost on the way, thereby wasting a bunch of gas money. Or you don't know how long to be on this segment of the trip, like this part of 95, before you get to 295, and you miss your exit. You'll be lost. You'll waste time, and you may never get to your destination. That's what a script does for any good TV show. It tells you where to start, what to expect during that start. It'll describe for you what is involved with that and how long you should be in this segment. You'll be in the intro for 15 seconds. After the intro, you're going to go to camera 1 and who's going to be on the camera or what's going to be on this as the source and how long that should be. Okay. Intro is 15 seconds. Then we're going to roll a commercial and that's a minute and a half. And then we're going to go to a story and that's 4 minutes. And then we're going to go to camera 1 and that speech is 2 minutes and 30 seconds. And then we're going to get camera 2, and that's a minute and 15 seconds, or whatever that looks like. And so let's bring back our script for a moment here. And what you'll notice is I have red descriptions of different areas. So there's a rundown sheet. And so I have the title and date information for the rundown of this program. This is called What's New LHU, and this is the April 24th, 2014 show. Then I have an item description. And these are, this column is all the different types of items that are going to come up. We got a show open, and then we have a greeting, and then we have the budget reader, and then we have a DUI speaker, and then we have a DUI voiceover. And then we're going to go to the who, what, where. Who's on camera or where's the source coming from and what is the source and where's it coming from? Okay, so for instance, we go to the show open and it's coming from VTR1. That's the what and where. Or we're going to do the greeting and it's coming from camera 2 is the where and the what. The who is anchors 1 and anchors 2, and then the what is just extra description. We need to have tag both anchors on one CG page, right? So that means it will have both names up. And so that's kind of how that works. And I know you guys already know a lot of this stuff because this is advanced. Then there's a comment info for the element. This is just additional information as needed. So we're going to say, oh, they're going to have an in cue. That's good morning. And the out cue is, and I'm Ocean Washington. That lets everyone know that when they hear good morning, we are firmly inside of the greeting. And then when they hear I'm Ocean Washington, the greeting has ended. And now we move over to the runtime. And this is the element runtime. That particular element is going to run how long? So the greeting, say for instance, the show open is 30 seconds. And then the greeting is 7 seconds. That is the length of time for that element to actually occur. Next to that is the running time, which is essentially the total runtime at that moment. So you see that the open is 30 seconds and the total runtime thus far is just 30 seconds. As we get down to the greeting, we add 7 seconds, and 7 plus 30 is 37 seconds. And then the next item, the next element is 17 seconds, and that adds into 54 seconds. And keeping that time, again, is a lot like knowing that we're going to stay on I-95 for 76 miles before we get on 295 for 23 miles, etc. Someone has to kind of keep running that time and keep this together, because when shows run long, we miss commercial breaks or we miss other stories. If we don't get those stories in, then maybe we don't get the ratings up. If we miss commercial breaks, then we lose money. Money is what this whole game is about. So that's what this rundown is going to look like. So what is that, and what is the implications for you? What you need to do is create a rundown sheet of your own. And I want you to create a rundown sheet based on the program that we're going to call Newscast. And I want you to make this Newscast rundown sheet for, let's call it week 5. We'll just call it Newscast week 5. And your show should be 8 minutes long. Now, you remember that I showed you how to use StreamYard a little bit, right? I want you to consider that you can have in StreamYard one camera or two cameras or three cameras or five cameras or 10. Or you could also have roll-ins. You can have video files that come in and out. And so when you indicate what's going to be on camera, I want you to indicate that by saying it's camera 1, which would be the host, and camera 2, which would be the co-host. Cameras 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 can either be anchor, or so can either be field reporters or guests. So that's what you'll indicate. If you had a host and a co-host up and a third camera, it would say, you know, host 1 and 2 with guest or with field reporter. And then you would also indicate what type of shot any of these shots are. For instance, if for some reason you want a shot would be a close up or a medium close up or a long shot, I want you to say that. It would be camera 1. It would say something along the lines of host 1 medium close up, or host 1 long or wide shot, or host 1 close up. We're not going to really do a lot of close ups and medium shots using our webcams. That's just not the best way to do that. However, this is something that we want to make certain that we are calling our directions. And this is an easy assignment. I want this assignment back, in fact, on next Thursday. Real simple, easy assignment. Okay. In the meantime, if something comes up, there'll be a lecture on Tuesday. If something else comes up in the meantime, feel free to give me a call. Thank you. Have a great day.